The heart of the capital in arrest, empty stores and near deserted streets. The first step on a road with a clear destination.
We would want to see no additional community transmission. We're going to get back to zero. That's the objective through this process. We want all new identified cases to have been in quarantine for their entire infectious period.
But the journey ahead could be a slow one. Overnight, another close contact of the man who triggered the lockdown tested positive, and more exposure sites were added, including the EQ Cafe near Calvary John James Hospital. Authorities have confirmed it is the Delta strain, but they're unwilling to speculate on whether the source of the infection was a visitor to Sydney.
I'm not going to talk about individual cases. We have breached people for going to different jurisdictions during the last 18 months and will continue to do that. But the priority at the moment needs to be the security of the ACT community.
More pressing for authorities, an additional mystery case. A student at Gold Creek School tested positive this morning. The entire school community, including an adjacent childcare centre and construction site, are now considered secondary contacts who must quarantine and get tested, while those from the nearby Holy Spirit Catholic School are considered casual contacts.
They share services within the Gold Creek Junior Campus Library as well as some other facilities. Those facilities are all being cleaned at the moment and all impacted staff and families are being contacted today.
But getting tested is still easier said than done. It was bumper-to-bumper traffic at the Epic Testing Centre this morning, with many returning after being turned away last night.
Today, I guess 4 hours is only half the wait, so it's not too bad. I know everyone's doing the best that they can and trying to move quickly, but yeah.
Those not in the queue after 4 p.m. today were turned away. Authorities say they are doing all they can to reduce the wait times by recruiting more testers and making sure amenities are at hand.
No jurisdiction in the first couple of days of an outbreak has been able to surge to meet the entire demand for testing because we're talking about human beings who have lives, who need to come on to shift to do that work.
Students from a number of residences at the Australian National University can't even go for testing. They've been forced to quarantine in their rooms, having been deemed close contacts of a case.
It could go on for a while, then what it's meant to say, and everyone's a bit stressed, and of course the uncertainty about the close contacts. It is a little bit stressful.
For businesses feeling the pinch, the Commonwealth and the ACT government will offer support grants of $3,000 for enterprises with employees and $1,000 for sole traders with a decline in turnover of more than 30%.
Hamish Davis turns 12 today, but his birthday will be spent away from friends.
I was devastated, it was really disappointing.
Yeah, he's really been looking forward to this. So yeah, it's disappointing, but it has to happen. So we'll just go with it.
Hamish and his little brother will be pivoting to online learning while both parents work from home. It wasn't easy last time, and it won't be this time.
Working at the same time as having the home learning is really difficult too. So if the lockdown does go on for longer, I'll have to consider what I do there because they do need attention during the day.
Meanwhile, some residents in the regions around the ACT are confused about the rules.
Oh, no, not really. I'm smiling and pretending I understand, but, I'm just going to err on the side of caution and stay here, I think. If where possible, I just won't need to go into the ACT. I can work from home.
Simply put, those residents can enter the ACT for groceries, medical appointments and education, but are being urged not to.
My advice to people is that they should only enter the ACT if they can't access those goods and services in New South Wales.
And while the ACT has a standard exemption for cross-border residents, the New South Wales government requires them to fill out a declaration form every 3 days.
It is something of a bureaucratic embuggerance for some people, but every 72 hours they are required to do that online declaration. They are required to make sure that they keep that on their person when they're in New South Wales.
Not the border bubble people had in mind. Isaac Naruzi, ABC News.